Hytale is a relatively new game, but as time goes on, players are going to build up pretty expansive worlds. The longer you play, the farther out you're going to have to go to collect finite resources, and that takes time. So allow me to introduce you to this amazing mod called Rechunk. This mod allows you to quickly and easily prune chunks in your Hytale worlds while protecting the areas that you want to keep. But before we dive into the tutorial, I just want to say a quick thank you for checking out this video. I hope you'll consider subscribing to the channel, clicking the like button, and then telling me what your favorite mod for Hytale has been so far. And if you're considering purchasing or upgrading your copy of Hytale, please consider using code BluJay. Thank you very much. Let's get on with the tutorial. In order to download Rechunk, you need to go to curseforge.com and either find Hytale on the homepage or search for it in the game search bar and navigate to the Hytale channel. You can also just go directly there at curseforge.com/Hytale. I'll leave that link in the description below. And once you land on the Hytale mods page, you can search for Rechunk in this search bar, and it should be the very first one that pops up. It is really simple to download. You literally just have to click the download button, or if you're using the CurseForge app, you can use the install button here. The other thing that you can do is click into the mod itself to see more information. And once you read up on the information, the description, the key features, how to use it, all of this stuff, it's going to be really important for you to know. I'm going to show you most of it here in the video as well. You can go to the Files tab and either download the latest version or any other version that's available. So far, there's only 2, but I would imagine that this would get updated frequently, so it may not be 1.0.1. When you download this, it might be a newer version. Just make sure to grab the newest one available. To download it, all you got to do is click on the 3 dots and the same options appear: install with the CurseForge app or download the file directly. I'm going to download the file directly. And then from here, all you need to do is navigate to the app data folder on your computer. An easy way to do that would be to type in %, app data, %, and then hit enter, and then find the Hytale folder. From there, just navigate to the user data folder and then into the mods folder, and then you'll drop Rechunk right in here, and then it will be available on every world in your game, but you'll still have to do one more thing to get it activated, and I'll show you that next. For this example, I'm just going to be using this Rechunk test world, which is a copy of another world that I've got here on the hard drive. And I'm going to right click to edit the world, and you'll see this mod section appear. If you've installed the mod correctly, you should have Rechunk right here in the mods list, and there is a checkbox next to it. You will need to check that in order for this mod to be enabled. Once you have checked that, you can save the world settings and load up the world, and the mod is just about ready to go. Once you are in the world with the mod enabled, you will need to make sure that you have op privileges. Otherwise, you won't be able to use the command. The command is simple. It's just a / and then Rechunk. And you can see right now I don't have op privileges, so it's going to reject the command and say I don't have permissions to use it. If you are the owner of the world and you have permissions to do this, then you can go in and hit /op self, and that will give you op privileges. If you don't own the world, or it's on a server that you don't have access to the console, you might be locked out from this. So you might need to do some begging and pleading of your server owner to allow you to do these kinds of things, or they just might take care of it for you. I'm going to switch over into creative mode for this, just so we can fly around and take a look. This is a creative copy of my Let's Play world, but I want to start out by making a very slight change that we can undo. So I'm going to go over here and start by destroying a little bit of this slate pillar. Let's say maybe this is a public server and somebody hopped on the world, they came in here, they were mining where they shouldn't have been, or they were griefing and they just tore down this beautiful pillar that should be there. There's not really a way to undo breaking that kind of thing. That's why you need a world backup. But if you're just looking to reset a chunk to its original state, this is a great tool for that. I can just type in the command that we talked about earlier, /Rechunk, and it'll bring up this UI in the game. And I can enter in an X coordinate, a Z coordinate, and then the buffer. And then there are 2 modes, protect and reset selections, which we'll go over here in a second. But before I can do this, I need to actually grab the coordinates. So I'm going to hit F7 on the keyboard, and it'll bring up the coordinates in the top left hand of the menu. The main thing that I'm looking for is that chunk number, the yellow one that says -25,1. That is the number of chunk in the X coordinate and the number of chunk over in the Z coordinate from spawn. So we're 25 chunks this way from spawn and 1 chunk that way from spawn. And if I fly over a little ways, you can see that turned into a 0. If I fly the opposite direction, it turns into a 2 right about there. And same thing, if I go this direction, that's a -24. And this direction, it turns into a -26. So I'm going to go back over here close to where I want to reset and make sure that this entire build is within the same chunk area. And it is. So all I need to do really is just grab one coordinate. And right now that coordinate would be -782, +33. So I go in and hit Rechunk and type in -782 into the X coordinate, 33 into the Z coordinate. And then I'm going to leave this buffer at 0. And then I'll click save. This is going to load up the entire -25, +1 chunk, which is what I want to work with for the moment. But if I remove this and I go in and type in that same number, -782, +33, and I put in a buffer of 1, it's going to put a buffer of 1 chunk in each direction, and it's going to load all of those up automatically as well. So then I can either protect this selection, which would keep this as is and then delete everything else in the world, or I can choose to reset the selection and it will reset only the selected chunks. I don't really want to reset all of these chunks, so I'm going to remove all of this, go back in, type in -786, +27, enter the buffer as 0, and then hit save. And then I'm going to just do a reset selection and then click this start button, and it happens very quickly. And it doesn't seem to have worked. Why didn't it work? This would probably be a good time to remind everybody that this is an early access game with a mod developed for an early access game. There's going to be a few bugs here and there. I do have a potential solution. I'm going to go in and do the exact same coordinates, -786, +27, but I am going to use the buffer this time. And then I'm going to get rid of everything except for one chunk over. And I think I'm going to keep this chunk, and then the rest is going to be removed. Make sure to set reset selection. You don't want to delete the entire world by accident. I'll hit start, and there you go. The whole thing is reset. So that is a quick workaround to make sure that this actually does what it's supposed to. The only time that I've seen that problem is when pruning one specific chunk, and most of the time people aren't pruning just one chunk. They're pruning large areas. So overall, that shouldn't be an issue. Here's another quick example that should be easy to see. I'm going to spread out some of this blue cloth all the way across this map this direction, and then all the way across the map this direction, and then all the way across the map this direction. And this blue cloth lies within -24.1 all the way over to -24.2. So I need to make sure I'm hitting all of those chunks in order to get rid of all of the blue wool. And then it goes over -24, -25, and then does it go back down to -23? It does not. It is right on the chunk border. So generally, I can just go into the middle of the build right here, go to Rechunk, type in the coordinates, -756, and then +10. And just to be safe for now, I'm going to go in and prune one chunk in each direction, and I'm going to select reset selection. And then I'll just make sure that all of these extra chunks don't cross into any actual builds that I want to keep. So this is -24.1 all the way over here. And then this is -26.1 all the way over here. I don't think that any of this crosses into that section. No, we should be okay. So I am safe to remove all of these chunks. And if I come up here, I'll position myself to where I can see everything. Again, every time you close this window, it does save your coordinates, but it does not save the mode. It always defaults to the protect selection. Do not mistake that, because if you accidentally leave it set to this, it could potentially delete your builds. We'll show that here in a minute. So choose reset selection and then hit start. And then all of that stuff that I just did is undone, except for this little bit right here is right outside of the pruning zone, and it's just a few blocks, so I can delete those myself. Let's say for some reason you want to just reset the entire world, blow it out, you really like the seed, and currently, to my knowledge, there's no way to change the seed in Hytale. If I'm wrong, please correct me in the comments, but for example's sake, let's say you love the world, but you don't love the builds, you just want to reset it back to default. That's easy to do. I can go into Rechunk, but I cannot just choose reset selection and hit start with no coordinates. It's not going to do a single thing. So the easiest way to reset the world would be to go target the spawn point with a 0 buffer, and we're going to protect that selection, and then make sure to save that as a selection. So now chunk 00, that is the world spawn. Then I'm going to hit start, and it is regenerating 29,928 chunks, excluding the world spawn, and it's going to take a minute. I would not advise that you do anything while this process is running. Every so often you'll get a prompt, just like what we have here with Rechunk progress 25% popping up on the left-hand side of the screen. You will get a prompt at 50%, 75%, and when it finally is complete. And if I've done everything correctly, once the pruning process is done, Rechunk will delete this beautiful pirate skull and reset it back to the mountain that it was before I dug everything out in survival. And there it is. My build is gone. All of the chunks are reset except for 00. And if you want to go in and reset 00 as well, you can just do the reverse. You can do the reset selection, 00, maybe do a 1 buffer on that as well, and then hit start, and it will prune all of those chunks, and now your world is completely reset back to the beginning. All of the resources are available. If any new features have come out, all of that stuff should be available. This is a really great tool. Again, have a little bit of patience with it because, like anything else with early access, it's going to have some issues from time to time. The only one that I have found so far is when pruning one chunk, like I showed you earlier, it may not prune the actual chunk. It may just not do anything. Which, if we're going to err on the side of having a problem, I want to err on the side of having a problem that doesn't affect the world than over affects the world. So it's kind of honestly a good problem to have. But either way, you're going to want to make sure to double check every change that you make within this UI. Because as you can see, there is absolutely 0 undo button. There is no reset button. There is nothing to undo any changes. If you happen to delete something and don't have a world backup, it's gone forever. You will never get it back. This is a fully destructive tool, so use caution and make sure to back up your worlds. The future is bright for modding in Hytale, and hopefully we'll see more tools just like this. If you see any tools that you want me to cover on this channel, make sure to drop a comment in the comment section, and I'll give it a look. Thanks again for watching today's tutorial. Hope you have a great day, and hey, don't be a square. Come back and see me again really soon. Bye for now.